to declare. This has never happened in our history. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
What's your
Honorable, you're welcome.
I'm with my younger brother.
Congratulations on your win.
Younger brother. And, thank you. I think that we owe the Ghanaian people a debt of gratitude for standing strong and firm, Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and having faith and confidence in his return to the presidency. It's my trust and prayer that he will not disappoint the Ghanaian people. At least he would avoid the arrogance of the new patriotic party. So be sure that President Mahama will run a government with ministers who will be humble, who will uphold humility as a hallmark and requirement of the president. President Mahama will also avoid abuse of the office with impunity. So the emergence of John Dramani Mahama marks an end to impunity. I won't listen to anybody. I'll do as I please. Nanado will walk away as you please. So the Ghanaian people telling you. And I've seen many of you question whether President Mahama can run a lean government or not. It's a pledge he made to the Ghanaian people that he will protect the public purse. A true meaning of the public purse would be to downsize government. He intends to run a government with 60 ministers. That's very, very doable. I foresee him run a government with 23 ministries, so 23 ministers, some 19 cabinet ministers and their deputies, and some 16 regional ministers. Gives you some mathematics of 54 to 58 ministries.
So the regional ministers are not going to have their deputies?
Even current MPP, regional ministers have no deputies. What I'm aware is that President Mahama will run a government of 60 ministers. That he will honor as his word to the Ghanaian people. And for him, it is protecting the public purse and preserving public resources, which otherwise would have gone into salaries, facilities, and privileges of ministers. He's saving that money in the name of the Republic and in the name of fiscal prudence. Any other question?
How do you balance that with the high levels of representation, especially amongst the party folk who are looking at being employed or having their share of the victory that you got right now?
Public expectations are very high, but as I scan through the issues, what the Ghanaian people require of President Mahama is to exact accountability for the people and in the name of the people. That any person culpable of abuse of public resources and public funds be held accountable to that in accordance with law. That he would do. He would exact accountability for and on behalf of the Ghanaians.
Does the outcome of this election stall the sitting of Parliament prior to the elections?
You know, you can have the Supreme Court majority and you can have the electorate majority. We had the majority of the electorate. The electorate have decided. You can have a Supreme Court also rule in order that we uphold the tenets and principles of the rule of law. We will respect the Supreme Court, but we certainly disagree with them in their thinking and in their judgment.
The business of the House for today, the president, a lot of things expected to discuss. Are you confident all the same?
This is a lame duck president and a lame duck parliament. The life of this parliament is almost and over. I think we should focus on the 9th parliament. For me, the most important item that the 8th parliament should be considering is expenditure in lieu of appropriation, nothing more. We should preoccupy ourselves in accordance with Article 179 the Public Financial Management Act. What is it that we can keep government running and the wheels of administration running until such time that President Mahama can introduce his own policies and programs that reflect his majestic needs.
Oh, now say Ghana fire your verdict, your judgment. That's all Mama you sit bebre. I don't think I yesu. The first judges, Ghanaians, no more judge. I make sure say J. Mbako, C. City baby.
My NDC.
Abra
na yam kwa abatu mu na mo de mo gidi se mo ye majority. Ene abatu nso so aso nti na ene de mo agya tum na afen so ye vote no amo aban ene be boa mo nti na mo kwakota minority for one.
Oh, na say akola de usu say ye nto bofrot mbra. Na say bofrot wi mu efe de wegu say ye de aba. E wo bag ni mu aye be yi ama nti esu ni de u be gya esu ansa. Kopepisi ebe yi bofrot ni ti agya esu. Say obi jaji yo said that yo Ghanaians are here on final verdict. Almost say NDC back or City baby.
Finally, manya clear majority. Na microphone so kan manya majority. Ebi na Ghana for council kan na mankuti yo.
Oh, ye bebre ye ho ase. In fact, we be humble, very very humble so far. Obia bebre ni ego. Na obia odi ego be hyase ya ye betu agu ne so achi na wete se ayi abono te se ayi na ya tolerate obia se Ghana fo gidi a mo nya wo ye mu yi se obi e ba be ye aha
But why cameras on us? Have it here? Yes. Because what do you say? That a few days outgoing interior minister. This one better. Let's hear him. Let's hear him.
First of all, I continue to say a big thank you to God. I say so because we see other countries go through elections and the end is not good. We did say that Mr. President was clear in his mind that he came into office through a legitimate means, and so shall he do when he succeeds. Indeed, the president has kept his word. As for persons being transferred from their positions, I am an interior minister. I drive policy. I don't do operations. So you have to take up with the relevant authorities who do the transfer. I don't transfer them. Thank you very much.
Well, so that's Henry Conte, an interior minister. He says he doesn't transfer.
Well, but you don't expect Henry Conte to stand in front of the cameras and say, hey, that. But you know, I mean, we are all politicians. He was the brain behind everything, you know. But by the grace of God, we were able to identify some of them and stop them from entering the constituency.
No. Right, so, Honorable, we see that in the ninth parliament, a lot of your colleagues will not be coming back. You will not be in the house as well. I don't know what to make of all this, considering the experienced people who are no longer coming back.
Well, first of all, we thank God for how far He has brought Ghana. We also thank Ghanaians and all the actors, the stakeholders, in ensuring that indeed democracy continues to deepen and, for that matter, thrive in this country. Yes, of course, we are coming to Parliament with the NDC's having almost about 2/3 majority. And it's not everybody that is new, but again, the professor was once and +1 before he or she became a professor. So yes, there are quite some new ones who are coming to Parliament on the side of now you can say minority, but I believe that those of us who are out or outgoing will be there to lend a helping hand to them. And don't forget, we used to have the famous 67 many years ago when the president then was an MP. So it's about a very good parliamentary group, not necessarily making in the plenary, their voices may not be heard, but it's about putting government on its toes to make sure that indeed they go by what they have said, the promises that they've made, and all the policies that they are likely to, for that matter, introduce. So it's not an all dead end of the road, but rather I think this is a fine opportunity for our MPs to try and do their best.
Now, how shocking do you find the numbers, what the NDC got, what MPP got?
Oh, I don't think that we will have to do some politics with it. They have won and it's decisive, that's it. I mean, you go to an elections, it's like going to state lotto, you win or you lose. In every circumstances, you have to thank God that you've won or you've lost. But it's a matter of going back to do your reorganization, do your reforms, and then come back stronger.
Thank you, sir.
So, that question is too premature if you ask me. Yes.
Has the party done some retrospection?
Well, I'm sure you know today's date. How do we start retrospection today?
There's so much to talk about.
Oh, honorable.
Hey!
What's going on?
Mommy, we miss you. We miss you so much.
We shall talk longer later.
Oh, mommy. How is it?
Come and do government business. Just to do government business.
So what would you say? I mean,
Ghanaians have spoken. We should listen to them.
is there any more you're expecting from the sitting today going forward?
I'm not in charge of the agenda. Those who are the business managers will agree on the agenda, and those of us who are members of parliament would do accordingly.
Are you expecting all your colleagues to be present for business today?
It's my expectation that parliamentarians will do their work. Maybe there might be a colleague here who is on the parliamentary business outside the chamber. But I'm expecting all parliamentarians to do their work.
Is there any more you're expecting from today?
I'm not in charge of the agenda. Those who are business managers will agree on the agenda, and those of us who are members of parliament do accordingly.
Are you expecting all your colleagues to be present for business today?
It's my expectation that parliamentarians will do their work. Maybe there might be a colleague here who is on the parliamentary business outside the chamber. And I'm expecting all parliamentarians to do their work.
Sir.
What's up, big man? I'm on my phone. I'm out better phone. Why? Yeah.
What's going on?
Mommy, we miss you. We miss you so much.
We shall talk longer later.
Oh, mommy. How is it?
Well, like I've said, I'm a child of God, and as a Christian, the Bible says, "Vengeance is the Lord; He will repay." And so it's up to God to exact vengeance. I'm a son of God, and as sons of God, we inherit our fathers. So vengeance belongs to the Lord. My leader, take it. Yeah. I think so. One of the key things that Ghana for the next NDC are buying is the recovery of loots and prosecution of Nkrofo when we are buying Sika. I think that this election wasn't just about a vote on Bawumia per se. It was a vote on Akufo-Addo ni Bawumia ni na wo mamambo katashishe proye kind dream a course or a buying them. And Ghana for say NDC aban John Mahama aban na ebe mo no will not come and continue business as usual. Oh, omo ye na for ma omo Debbie. Ghana for eyi womani ana yesi inteso kokko e de akire aban no say kono na e koso aban no no enye omo de enti esese yenso as aban a womo di tumi na mayen no e be make sure say womo ade a eda Ghana for akoma so the recovery of loot, prosecution of people who have deprived the people of development. Ese koso na ade ba ko a ehia e wo aban no mo e ya ahombrase obi biara Mahama be pound no a be ma no akwanya e wo aban no mo no ese yesua ahombrase ese ase wo hwe John Mahama ankasa no o ahombrase wo nipa ho tima enti ye power say we minister we CEO wo akwanya wo aban no mo a ese wo bre ho ase enya nipa Ghana fo ho tima ese ase Ghana fo nte na wonya asa to me no enti e ade ba kwa say yensua na yentie Ghana for no and I believe is adibako a edamakoma so for aban no say aban no me nya kwanya say metu omampanyin John Mahama for make say ye Ministry of Information and Public Engagement ministry and not just for information but ministry any omanfo no benya ngita hundie at least on a weekly and monthly basis because for year I koso aban no it took 8 years. 8 years. I feel watching, and as I catch any kind of course. To me, it's some people in 1 month. And you need to carry the people along. At Mawamo say, Busumi way, Nyaya the steps we've taken, timelines are a better taking na the behu nyama like when you implement a policy. It will take time for you to see the effect. Yeah. But in between the time, there's a policy way over the next 6 months. You expect to say. And in between the 6 months, you need to carry the country along. And the economic reform say, carry the country along. Because I think the extent of the damage to the economy, you need to address the country. Say this is the level of we are. When you put in a new policy, renegotiation with the IMF, what does it mean for the young people of Ghana? I said, Ejuma 4, what does it mean for them? Forex, the situation at the Bank of Ghana, you need to do sector by sector. Ghana for NTS here. When you do that, you can carry the people along. My number here, does it put any task on you, burden on you, so some of them will deliver? Definitely. I mean, the Ghana for to be more overwhelming super majority. IRPC MPP to microcredit finance there. And here say again, ahombrase. And here say be prayer once. Na ya jiri ho eye tuma. Ebe so Ghana for any. The majority in parliament is for us to listen to the desires of the Ghanaians. Nyama on pese yensi sano na yensi sama on. Nyama on pese yenge Ghana for did was say woman pay 8-11. They say you free. In the first budget they say you free. Almost woman pay bet tax. They say you free. Almost woman pay corporate levy. I say you free because anything our mama here to me. Look, the Ghanaian people don't joke with them. Omuma MPP a very solid majority of 169. Omuma say MPP for 5 years to my year. Then the next one my split parliament 137 say yen hwe say na enu super call sisi a woman my overwhelming majority 188 unje na mon fanye adwuma no mai I say enti o this is 4 seats ono ankasa onyanji to me one come position your clear say legally it was wrong say ombetimi akasa yi parliamentary that constituency apart declare with different constituency opposition no put that supreme because some will definitely go against your members of parliament that have been elected. You know, there's no member of parliament on the NDC side who's been elected. You declare another constituency. None. I mean, some says yes, under duress. Why can't say you're under duress? Nobody has stated. I mean, can't say I was physically present at the declaration of Okaigwe Central. Right, Mr. Digenu, our returning officer. In the Nanti cup tables. Now, why is because it was getting that. Yes, so your lights, man. So I went to my Juma. He stood there and declared his results. He went and sat there and did the declaration rates. Say Obi under duress. You watch the videos. Obi the told share to I mean, Techiman South card 1 year declaration 4 years. Abra soldiers a thing of and Crabo ECG to the year demonstration that Haruna Idris to echo ECC say your problem. I am Coco. Oh, Ablekuma North, a Rabina Open. Yes, I see on Monday. Yambi electoral officer and returning officer Mr. Opon Okofi Eko die. Tuesday, Osanfo on one Sanika. Esam buy ebe twa Ejumano so to declare Rabina Obi. Obia or under duress or to me coffee Ekoda Esign Chibra say obey declaration. The EC Samuel Tete any woman or more EC our own person be woman share MPP atade our year MPP Ejumano. Any so Obi what problem. Money ye clear on court. EC need to annul a declaration of a returning officer. Thank you very much. Party a Greater Accra election where I worked in 30 constituencies across beyond Greater Accra. I worked in the Bunu East, Bunu region. I worked in Western. I worked in Central. I worked in the Eastern. Your
party did not intimidate or put anybody under duress via
Menua Bema. So Obi Bo Wasuma. Unia win a beba say Yabo Wasuma. You know Beka say Yabo Wasuma. Adena Samuel Teteni Jimenez and Boss Mansari, one more num Panado Ma Obi or Siniti. The people who did the declaration are not saying they are under duress. So why is Samuel Tete saying that they were under duress? And then the rest of your job will be Mumas.
Honorable, that has it.
I mean,
I think you have your head to all right. Yeah, when I'm going here, I will see you when you are done.
Give us up this small but when we need this time,
Jobusia and NDC for no mopping efforts now minority. The NDC for no martial white. Minority and now our bargain Speaker of Parliament. I shall to us maybe Parliament no more the Kagana wanting. If you are NDC parliamentarians in a more into the left side of the Speaker, which is a minority seat. So far MPs in the Bianaba, it's Lawusu, more cancer proceedings, Speaker of the drama, started. They all have the drama or much graduate.
Okay, so what are you looking at? We know the issues that happened before Parliament went away for the campaign and all. Who is sitting there where today?
I'm sure we'll get an indication of that. All of those are matters that we've said over and over again, which are in the hands of Mr. Speaker. And we expect that today, as tempers are lower, he will give clarity on those. We always said that we had outstanding business that needed to be completed. We are hopeful that today he would ensure that outstanding business is put on the table so that we can do it on behalf of the people of the land.
I know you are yet to see the other paper for today, but do you already have certain issues you are looking at addressing today in the House?
You recall that when the initial recall was triggered, we listed a number of things that we wanted to handle. Those are the issues that we're expecting to see on the other paper today.
Can you just give us
It will be the same issues on the other paper.
Right, okay, thank you very much.
We're hoping everybody.
Charlie, you should know. You should have
there was no caucus meeting.
Vote of no confidence in Nanado, but not necessarily Bawumia factor now. That is an argument.
Well, argument because we are not, but I don't buy that argument at all. So, and you see, you see success or many friends who call against you
na wudi nkunimu a suddenly obiara bɛyɛ wadanfo obiara yɛ you know in all aspects of life even take your football you appoint you coach and then if there's a tournament now who lead now who win people will shower praises on you. You are the best coach. Now we started, now you're excellent. We say all kinds of praises on you. You same person. So nyame anye wadumu so na ulusu ya ube hu say you 30
know who is coming and who is not coming. But Parliament is resuming today, and so I've come. I expect that every member of Parliament will attend.
There are concerns that people like yourself who lost your seats are not really interested in what happened in the remainder of the 8th Parliament. Do you get
my presence here certainly throws into the data session. I lost the election for the 9th Parliament. I'm still a member of 8th Parliament representing the good people of 2nd D, and I'm here to do my job.
Finally, the Fresh Teachers Bill is up for discussion today. A lot of bills, the Social Protection Bill, the Financial Stability Fund.
Why do you say it's up for discussion today? It's business that has been tabled for this side of the term of Parliament. And so we'll start work. We'll do the ones that we can't today. We'll continue tomorrow until Parliament goes on recess finally, I believe on the midnight of the 6th of January 2025.
So you're expected you are confident it will be passed?
Business committee will meet, leadership will confer. I'm a regular member of Parliament, so I'm coming to set whatever business is tabled for us to deliberate on. I will participate and make sure that we get to do what we have to do for the people of Ghana. Good.
Honorable, are you back to Parliament? Will you contest again next question?
But why are cameras on us?
Do we have it here? Yes. Because
was maybe repeating who you English, all English guys must say, we finish when we do three. And one I started.
English. Right, thank you very much, Honorable, and you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Good morning to you.
So
The fourth estate of the realm.
Right, so this is the first meeting after the back and forth in Parliament before the election. How do you feel about this call?
I think this is a very important call. We have some serious business to do, and this goes in favor of the incoming administration. We have the Amendments Committee bill to pass. That's the Article 71 of this. We also have the vote to account budget for the first quarter of next year. These are all things going in favor of the incoming administration. I hope that common sense will prevail and the Speaker will take charge today. We're speaking and we're setting our respective positions and do justice to these things for the sake of Mother Ghana.
Now, we know that the back and forth was as a result of who was to occupy which side of the House. Now, we know how the 9th Parliament is going to be like, but for today's sitting, what are your expectations, especially from the current minority side, in terms of who sits where?
Well, as I think common sense will prevail, the Speaker will sit and the MPP majority side in the 8th Parliament will sit to his right. Because we have some pressing issues I've mentioned. We have two issues that the President-elect and his NDC members of Parliament who are looking for us to do justice to. That's the Article 71, where there's the Amendments Committee bill that's coming before us. And two, the vote to account budget for the first quarter of 2023. These are all things that will inure to the benefit of the NDC incoming majority caucus coming in on the 7th of January. So I don't think the Supreme Court has ruled, and we are lawmakers. We are bound by the ruling of the Supreme Court. So we come in today and just get on to the actual business of the House and make sure that you do it for the sake of Mother Ghana and for the sake of our Parliament.
Right. Now, prior to the election, there were a number of issues that you personally raised. You were seen as not in support of certain things, even from your own side. Now, with the aftermath of the elections, what have happened? Do you feel vindicated?
Well, I'm here to serve Ghana. I'm not here to serve a political party. Do I belong to a political party? Yes. But once I swear an oath of office as a member of Parliament, my duty or my fidelity to the constitution, not to the NPP. And I've made a point on several platforms that those who have difficulty in accepting my position, that's fine. My position, according to the oath that I read, the verbs in the oath, adjectives in the oath that I read, it's simple to uphold the constitution. My fidelity is to the constitution of Ghana. It's not to a political party. Once you enter this chamber, you are looking at Ghana. But without Ghana, there will be no MPP, there will be no NDC. That's what you forget to bear in mind. I come here to do what is right for the people of Ghana. I've served over 5 decades of my life in this country. Some out of the country. But I believe that we've seen the West, and we don't want the West to happen. What brought the champions coup d'etat? To do with inflation. What brought Rollins' coup d'etat? Because of hoarding. You've seen all these things. Yeah, I'm not going to allow anybody to sit somewhere and dictate to me what I should do or what I think is best for this country. We've made a decision. We are going to stand by it. If what I was telling the government middle of 2022, we did fail to listen. It was my own doing. You've seen the results. If what I was trying to tell the president, I've been vindicated by happenings, and more so the polls as conducted on the 7th of December 2024, Ghanaians are the better judges. And I kept saying that posterity will be on my side because I knew what I was talking about. So posterity has proved me right. It's up to the rest to accept the fact that we are not being fair to the issues. We are not being fair to the issues. You cannot win an election in this country without the economy. The economy. It's as simple as that. If you want to win the election in this country, you need to make sure that the economy is on a sound footing. We fail to do that, and we'll be punished because of that. So that is that.
Honorable, just briefly on expectations today, the sentiments shared across that a number of your colleagues might not make it to the floor of the House today after the defeat.
Why are we speculating?
What's the general sentiment from within your corpus?
There's no sentiment. The sentiment is that we've been recalled by a party. That's the job that we were elected to do. So everybody must show their face here. It's as simple as that.
And everybody will be here to
I suspect so. That's the job we're elected to do. The Speaker has summoned Parliament. We have important business of state to handle and to deal with. So we must all show our faces. So I'm sure our colleagues will be here in their number. I'm not so sure about my NDC colleagues because they are still in the jubilation mode. So they are probably still jubilating. But all in all, I think members will show. You see them trickling in, they'll come. I must say the truth, I must say the Ghana. And no more Benaka, as I buy we and some of the time of 6th of January 2025. And no more said my booby show. The sick as President Mahama Obey. The free people to account budget, the first 3 months, first quarter of next year. Budget, let's say a man, it's a parliament in a man. We are tossing emoluments committee, Article 71 holders. As on the banner, so everyone wants and other bills in agreement that they say they can was it. Obi think that will be rather much of punishing. Yeah, we are punishing and only a punishment. Yeah. You know, I don't think that is of interest. They are 12 and they say Obi on the level. And this is what we say they have 2/3 of parliament next year. It's in their interest to come and support government as opposed to, quickly wrap up and leave the stage for them. So I understand now we say we will be true and I say as why that quite crack. When you know share.
Dear Nama, why do you strong conflict party officer? Party
my orientation different. Some check be paying on them, maybe to chairman. But me we grab me say buzy inflation. Like champion be Rollins be by no say hold no man. Control means that run away. To be a cool economy. One can wear by my popular. About one day, what I say, it's here, no way in a economy, a car, them say, that I've got to Waba. They know who they can. They won't be needing to be able. Now, problem I want to say, maybe swear the oath of office as a member of parliament. There were verbs and adjectives in the oath. How or simply say you protect, preserve, defend, and uphold the Constitution. So my fidelity is to the Constitution as a Ghanaian citizen. It's not to a political party. Party member parliament, yes. I don't get a party ABB, I mean to be minister, they were one.
I am in Chima. I am in Chima. Say no, but Sana didn't queen no one can. Now you know where Hannah would get you. Baby, I said, a buy, we were waiting. Yes, sir, we feel, sir, and now we are getting a baby swagger to say, maybe a young and a creepy. But I say, some of us, we don't need government to survive, really. I love this country at 21. I'm a parliamentary minister. I'm a other. What I say? Yes, you can survive with that government. Oh, yes, it's over trying to man as a Ghana for the ratio. Who say, but trying to Ghana, you man have no MPP and this. That's what.
Substantially, PC appeal for it to keep a concern now. Currently,
PC appeal for grass, always inside. On the other, indeed.
But are you facing any challenges?
I'm not facing any challenges. Tell me, me right. The brain, I'm we had a crisis. That crisis demanded the resignation of Ken Ofori-Atta. We failed to back it up. And it has brought us where we are today. Oh, there is a one person who and I made it to me 9 years after the team said, oh, my own mind, you man. Being I said, the woman see him. Saying also, like I said, there be Yena Yakwa campaign the partner for power. It's Yena, I see Timmy President Kasa say, baby, I do ministers need to of the sound. And when you're born, and your time. But yes, yes, I have a election. I didn't say my Ghana for here free. Ghana for Payarve, Ghana for Pejuma. What I say, before I'm going to Tuaba, and they come on the Tuabetia to Mahama 2016. You be on that Tuabetia. What I say, yes, and I always what Mahama votes are Unyano 2016. And when you be back home, you ain't for Nako Tuaba. And we had him. Mama votes in Yavu, you have 150,000 per year. You do over 2 million on Tuaba. It is a way analysis we now to now we say, me, ya watch it, you know, make catch on, then you know, great. Then the SC, you would also catch it. The economy will always determine elections everywhere of the world. Every part of the world, the economy will determine the election. Everywhere. You get the economy wrong, you're on the way out. It's as simple as that. You know, the 7 year out to Ghana. In TV, Yakasa, Yakasa, the second year. But Accra, you
microphone.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I had a short conversation with you.
What about?
Well, about today's sit-ins and aftermath of elections and everything. Right. So we just want to know what your expectations today are in the House. I mean, after the back and forth and elections and all.
This is the 8th Parliament.
Yes.
The 8th Parliament is having a regular meeting. It is regular that after elections, to resume a short period, outstanding matters are discussed. There's nothing special, nothing untoward. The 8th Parliament will continue as it started.
Before breaking for campaign and elections, the issue was who to sit where because of Speaker's announcement of the 4 seats that were vacant. Today, where is minority going to sit? Where is majority going to sit? Where will the NPP side be?
What brought about? Is that matter still pending? Has the Supreme Court not ruled it out? So there's no question. And sometimes, frankly, you in the media generate needless controversy. If somebody else is insisting that we should, those other MPs are no longer members of Parliament, let that person be bold and say it after the Supreme Court ruling. We should not encourage these things. Whatever or whoever came to that conclusion, the Supreme Court says you're wrong. So, Honorable Esiama is a member of Parliament, Cynthia is a member of Parliament, all the 4 of them. So wherein lies is where will you sit? We will sit where we have sat from 2021 to date.
Are you expecting a full house today?
Well, what else can you expect? Some people are demoralized, so we don't expect everybody to be able to be here. So it's normal. From my experience in the last 4 parliaments, the last few days we hardly get a full member. So I'll not be surprised if we don't get a full member.
Honorable, the free SHS bill is expected to be discussed in Parliament today. Are you confident it will be passed, that and other bills?
Are you aware of that? I'm not aware.
Thank you. For you people coming in now as the minority, but will be going into the majority. How does it feel? How does everything feel?
We feel good, and let me say that
the issue of who is majority and who is minority has been determined by the people of Ghana. It is not up to us to fight over it in Parliament. Now it is obvious that the MPP majority has now been reduced to Nkokwan Kete. So that's what it is. And we'll go ahead and do the business of the day, business of the people, and ensure that the right is done.
So is that why your members have gone to their original seats?
Yeah, I think it's pointless. It's pointless at this point to fight over who is majority and who is minority. The people of Ghana have determined who is indeed the majority and who is the minority. Not just with small numbers, but emphatic. The NDC members of Parliament constitute the majority for the 9th Parliament. So I don't think it's time for us to fight over one seat from now till Parliament is dissolved on the 5th or on the 6th of January. Let's make sure we do the right thing for the people.
Leader, finally, what kind of key business will you be supporting the government to deal with? Have you had any agreement so far?
So I want to make something very clear. We will not support anything that will commit the next government. This is a transition. We should allow the next government to make that determination. But anything that will seek to benefit all of us, and all of us agree to support that, like bills, lawmaking. But those loan agreements and the likes of, leases and all, must